Okay, looks like it has started here. So this meeting is being recorded now, and by continuing to be in this meeting, you are consenting to be recorded. So welcome, Erin and Tori, and of course, Yelena as well, to our very first webinar for Data 445, Section 6380, and our spring semester. And Happy New Year, by the way. Yeah, it's like happening every year, right? And the new year starts, and it goes in so quickly that you don't even realize. And now I'm thinking about it, well, this is just still the first month, but the days are just kind of just going by, at least for me. I don't know about you guys, but the year has started off with a lot going on, and it seems like as if new year has been gone past. It is already in a rear view mirror. But anyway, let's keep the first month, and let's keep up with the spirit that we had last month and the New Year spirit, and we'll kick off this course, okay? So as Erin may already know the drill, and she's been part of this, as far as the meeting etiquettes, I'm not going to go over all of that. This is a small class, and of course, and today's session is pretty, we have a small crowd here, so don't have to go through all of the etiquettes here. Please feel free, to start your video, or if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself. Only I would say that let's try to limit any distractions around you. In that case, please go on mute. And yeah, but as I said, with questions, feel free to, just speak up. I think that will kind of get maximum attention, although both Yelena and I will try to keep watching the chat room. But, in case you want to speak up, please do. And yeah, we'll try to keep it short. Especially this one, I don't expect it to go beyond an hour unless we run into any issues or questions. We'll certainly do that. But typically, as Erin would know, I would try to keep it, an hour, 15 minutes, all the webinars. And I haven't really gone beyond an hour, 15 minutes. I don't recall. But Erin can catch me here in case I did any time during Data 220. But if I recall, even the last semester we did Data 445. I think the maximum we went was one of the webinars for our 15 minutes. But that's typical what we kind of do, and I try to kind of understand that you have things going around in your your family and stuff to do, and and it's of course getting close to the nighttime, and you definitely want to retire to bed at that time. So I'll kind of keep that in mind always. So given my detailed introduction, I hope you watched my YouTube video, and once if not, it is listed here again. The link is there, and of course I will be sharing this deck, so you don't need to take any notes. I'll be sharing this deck as well as this recording with you all. As soon as I get a chance to download it, it will all be put up in the classroom, okay, in the announcement section. And you may already know Yelena from the other courses you may have taken. If not, she's around here, and I will let her kind of introduce herself. But she's going to be the TA. And we'll talk about the Salesforce systems soon. In case you haven't used the Salesforce ticketing system for logging in your issues and getting help from the TA, then we'll kind of just show you what that looks like. But before I go any further, Yelena, do you want to say a quick hello to Erin and Tori?
Sure. Hi, everyone. And I have my master's degree from UMTC in database technology, but I have been a TA for 15 years, mostly in a graduate program. So I look forward to working with you guys.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Yelena. I know in case, at least to me, it was your voice was fading out a bit, but in case it happened to others as well, let me tell you, Yelena has been a pro and been around for a long, long time. Even when I did my master's as well in data analytics a few years back, even before prior to that, she's been working in the data courses and data analytics and also in the databases as well. So she's pretty affluent with databases, database skills, and with data analytics as well. And we're very happy and very glad to kind of have her as part of the team here. Okay. All right. So moving along. So this course, like some of the courses that you may have seen, we kind of going through a very similar pattern. We'll have 4 modules: module 1, module 2, module 3, and module 4. The idea would be to, the difference or, subtle difference between the other courses that you may have gone through is this is going to be a lot of hands-on approach. The first module may be a little bit, not too much of hands-on, but there is. So your assignments are going to be pretty hands-on, pretty comprehensive. And you'll see all that. And I'll kind of keep, I'll keep you honest with when things need to be turned around and give you reminders and all of that. But each module runs for 2 weeks. Hey, Akawi, I see you joining. We just got started, so you haven't missed much, okay? So we just kind of started to introduce what is there as part of this classroom and then this course, which is 4 modules. The first module will consist of, you'll kind of learn a lot about big data and Hadoop ecosystem. And then, you would move on to the following week. In the second week, you'll learn about MapReduce and Pig and Hive and Flume and Scoop, all these technologies that you may have heard about. You'll have some some theory and concepts that will kind of go through a big data, which could be a little bit of a repeat. But just want to make sure that we are all at the we're at the same level, we're at the same base before we move further from here. So even though you may have heard this before, you may have seen some of the the concepts and heard about them and learned about them. We are kind of making sure that you are pretty much set for going on to the future modules of this course. Okay, so it's very important that you kind of go over these go over these concepts again if you have ever in the past. If not, this is going to be an excellent introduction to the big data and the the Hadoop framework and the ecosystem. Okay, so that's going to be module 1. Module 2 is going to be about learning about storage. So there's this kind of a pattern here, right? The first is kind of getting you the concepts, what big data is, learning what big data is. The second is how would you store big data, right? So you learn about all the cloud-based, the big data storage and the cloud-based architectures, like data lakes and warehouses. You learn about NoSQL databases. You learn about AWS in this module onwards. So AWS is going to be your lab. It's going to be your cloud lab, and we'll talk about that very soon. Today, as well as when we get to module 2 as well, you'll hear about that. But yes, this is where you kind of start learning about AWS, a little of some of the services that you will be using, and that is going to help you. And all this knowledge base that you build, through your reading is going to be helpful for you to, do your tutorials and the assignments and the quizzes based on these assignments. And then module 3 is about taking now from storage, we go on to talking about processing big data, right? Now that you have stored, how would you process the big data? And that's what this module 3 is going to be, talking about, what's big data computing, what's big data processing. And here you will talk about Spark and PySpark, right? And you'll also, learn about the EMR, the Elastic MapReduce of AWS, which is going to help you to kind of understand or see how you could run that around Spark-based and your PySpark code on a Spark environment, on a Spark platform called EMR on AWS platform. And then you'll know about Glue and what is PySpark, all of that in module 3. Module 4 is taking that forward, right? You learned what big data is. You learned how to, you learned about all the storage techniques and storage architectures. You learned about how to process big data, what is the processing framework like, and then you move on to doing some analytics, right? And also learning about streaming, right? Today, I mean, this course would not be complete, and your knowledge would not be complete without knowing about streaming, because that's a big part, right? That's a lot going on with data streaming. So we kind of complete this course with it introducing you to data streaming analytics. This is where you'll also learn about the machine learning service in AWS called SageMaker. You'll learn about Amazon Kinesis, which is a streaming kind of a service. And of course, in addition to what you have learned in the past modules, which is Glue, you'll learn about Athena, and then you'll add on a visualization kind of a service called QuickSight in AWS. So it's kind of, full package, like you learn how to store, process, then and do analytics and visualize. And this is what's going to complete your 4 modules in this course. So before I go any further, any questions on what we've covered so far? Of course, we'll get into a little more details, but I want to just make sure that you're able to process what we have covered thus far. Okay, I think the silence is golden. I'll keep going. All right, so this is just a view of all the 4 of them together. And this is a good slide to have in front of you all the time in case you want to, look at what's going to be there in each of the modules. This is a good site. So once again, a discussion and quiz will be part of every module. And most of the assignments and tutorials have a quiz component. This could be a little different than the other courses where, you have 1 week of discussion and quiz, the following week is assignment. And then in this case, you have your assignment. You have a quiz that will also follow an assignment, except for 1 week. You have quizzes every week of this course. So except for week number 2, you will be, at least you'll have a quiz of some sort based on your reading material and or based on the tutorial or the assignment that you'll be doing during that week. Okay, so very important to remember, and we'll cover that again in the future slides. Okay. So as I was telling you that you'll be using the AWS Academy Lab and AWS Lab. And in week 3, I will be inviting you to this course lab. It is a special environment, an academy environment, but which is, you could say, a clone or very close to what's being currently used in enterprise world, right? So which is the production kind of environment that you would see. So that's exactly the type of environment. One of the reasons why, I want each of you to understand that you are working in an environment that is used by hundreds of people, that's used world over, that is also kind of a production. So you are competing with many resources that are using this environment. Keeping that in mind, have a mindset that sometimes things may not just be plug and play all the time. It may be simple as saying, okay, I just need to do this. I just need to start a component. It will take me like 10 minutes. Sometimes that 10 minutes could be, you never know, an hour, maybe even more. And I'm not saying things slow down. We haven't observed that. Trust me, none of the tutorials or assignment here, and we've kind of run through this multiple times, we have never gone beyond 4 hours. Honestly, totally. And Ilana could attest to that, because she's equally, gone through these assignments and done it herself as well, just to make sure that, everything's tested out. And, but as having said that, I don't want you to just take it to the face value, because there are things that you may stumble upon. There are times where you may hit to some snag, or you may hit to times when things are under maintenance or not functioning. And one very important thing to keep in mind, which I will once again reiterate when the time comes for you to use this lab, is that this lab at a time can be used for 4 hours at a stretch. After 4 hours, you will have to log out and then restart and log back in, right? So that's something to kind of keep in mind. And once again, it doesn't wipe out everything. So don't freak out when I say that it doesn't log you out. It just things don't seem to work after 4 hours of being in. And as I said, if you are doing exactly what's in the instructions and everything is working perfectly fine as it should be, and on a sunny day and an ideal world, you would not need more than 4 hours for any of the tutorials and an assignment. Okay. And I can tell you for a fact, right? If you follow each and every instructions and on a sunny day. So let's plan for a cloudy day. Okay, let's not plan for a rainy day, but let's think you could be doing this on a cloudy day, and instead of 4 hours, you may need some more time. Plus, I don't expect you to be, spending like 4 hours. You may not get 4 hours at a stretch, right? Some of you could be working, you may have, or doing this part-time, or some of you may have family and all of that. So I completely understand. And so our assignments are not to be completed at a stretch. You can really, piece them out, but there are things to kind of keep in mind and remember. So I will kind of bring things back to you on how to make use of this lab. And there's a full video that has been, it's a 10-minute video that I've created, and I put it up as part of your classroom. So you will see that in week number 3, okay? All right. So with that, enough said about AWS, but guys, don't worry or don't freak out too much in case I said something that you may say, oh my God, what have I got into? But no, not really. Trust me. We had a very successful semester. We had a last semester on Data 445, and people enjoyed it. People were able to get things done much ahead of time than many of the other courses that they're working on. Okay. And I'm not making it up. I'm telling you with what I've seen during that semester. Okay, so some statistics about the course, right? I was talking about quizzes, assignments, tutorials. So remember this number, 7442. What is this? Is it a binary or something? No, it's not. There are 7 quizzes in this course. As I just mentioned, except for week number 2, all weeks have a quiz, right? So that's why there are 7 quizzes. You have 4 assignments to do. So every alternate week, on second week, 4th, 6th, and 8th, you have assigned 4 assignments. You have 4 discussions. The very first week, the current week, the 3rd week, the 5th week, and the 7th week. You have discussions. And you have 2 tutorials. Now, I have to tell you that this 2 could be cut down to 1. Right now, you may only see 1 tutorial that you have to really do, and it's kind of graded through a quiz. Not graded, but it's part of, you need to go through that to successfully complete the quiz, right? So there is something that we are working with AWS on the SageMaker. This is far off in week number 7, so don't even worry about it. And we are working with AWS to get something fixed and working before we open this tutorial up. So, and I hope that it happens and you're able to do, not just 1, but 2 tutorials that we want to do, which is going to be part of your quiz. Okay. Once again, let me stop here. Oh, you know what? Let me go through one more or a full slide on the full week by week structure, and then I'll stop to take any of your questions. Okay. All right. So this is a very comprehensive view of all 8 weeks. And I know this is too much on a slide and it's very difficult to read. It may not be legible. So I'm going to break it down, right? So the very first week, right? What are you doing, right? So introduction, very, very important. So you got my introduction video, and I hope you all saw it. If not, there's a link. I would love to see your personal introduction in the classroom. And I've read some of them already. I've also kind of, addressed and replied to each of you who have posted it. So please, if you're not, please go ahead and do it, even though you could be part of the Data 220 course exactly a year back that we all had. And I know, 7 out of 9 students that we have part of this course have been part of my data 220 course, but still I would love to kind of get my memory refreshed and know about you, and something that may have changed over the year that I would want to know about you, and plus knowing each other, your other classmates as well. So please do that. Okay, that's why I kind of highlighted in yellow things that I would be looking for from you, right? That I expected. Not graded, but introduction is not graded, but I really expect. The other things that I marked or highlighted in yellow are definitely graded. Quiz 1, right? You in week 1, you learn about course introduction webinar, which is you're going through it right now. You will have the history and overview of big data. You have MapReduce and Hadoop ecosystem. You will have a quiz 1 on big data and Hadoop, and then you will have a discussion 1 that will be done in week 1. Moving on to week 2, you will have a module 1 webinar. So exactly a week from now, on Thursday, we will meet again for going over the module 1, whatever you would have gone through. So I'll just kind of have that as a supplement, right? And some of you who have been part of my Data 220 course, I kind of bring some additional, or some supplement material, or just come here to address any questions or anything that you may have on your mind, right? So again, would love to see you all here participate in these webinars. And if for some reason, if there's hardship and you cannot do it, would encourage you to view the recording right away, right? Because I don't want you to miss out on anything that may have been mentioned here. It could be for an assignment, it could be for the material that you have gone through, or it could be something very important that we are going over here, right? That we are going through each of these weeks. So in week 2, besides that, you have Apache, Pig, Hive, and Flume, all the Hadoop ecosystem components that you kind of talk about. Then you'll go into assignment 1. This is the only assignment where you get to choose, either you work on a Hadoop, building a Hadoop cluster and running a MapReduce program, or write a research paper. Okay, so you'll have to write a full-fledged research paper, which is once again very comprehensive, guys. It's not. I don't want you to just pick and think, oh, this is going to be the easiest thing. If I were you and I want to learn about Hadoop and its components and how the MapReduce programs work and all of that, I would pick the Hadoop cluster because I want to kind of see it play out, right? You don't have to do a lot, this being the first week. We're not making you kind of do very heavy duty work, but at least running something and being on a Hadoop cluster, that's what this assignment is about. And trust me, it may even take you less time, or you may feel more accomplished by doing that. I'm not discouraging you from writing the paper. I'm not going to penalize you if you write the paper. I'm not going to give you less points if you write the paper. Trust me, it's going to be very fair, whichever option you choose. I'm just, suggesting what, since you are here to learn about all these different components and services and all that, I would choose that. But once again, it's up to you. All right. So that's about these 2 weeks. Then going on to week number 3, you learn about the cloud store, right? The storage, right? The big data storage. You learn about data lakes and cloud architecture. And this is the time that in week 3, you will get access to your lab, right? You'll be getting an email. And if not, I will be following up with you if you got the email or not, but you will be invited to join or add or get access to the AWS Lab, right? Which has been specifically designed for you. And you'll also learn about cloud data stores and NoSQL databases. You'll have a quiz on that. You will have a discussion during that week on the use cases of data lakes, data warehouses, or NoSQL databases. You got to pick and choose on which topic you'll pick it up for discussion. Week 4, you will have the webinar again on the week 2 and the module 2 material, or what you've been going over so far. And also the webinar is going to address any questions or anything that I could bring up and come up to talk about for this assignment 2, this being your very first assignment in AWS Lab. But it's on, data exploration using AWS S3, AWS Glue, and AWS Athena. These are the main services that you're going to use for, going over and working on the material that you would have covered in module 2. Okay. Now, as I mentioned to you, this assignment is not complete without doing the quiz on it, right? You'll have to finish the quiz. And if you've gone through the assignment and and there are step-by-step instructions, you'll see all of that. There will be certain things that you'll be asked to capture while you're going through the assignments. And that's what you will need it for the quiz. So quiz is not something that, it's not a memory test. It's not going to ask you things that you'll have to say, okay, what did I do? I did this assignment 3 days ago, and I'm sitting on a quiz. Will I remember it all? No, it's not a memory test. Trust me. It's about, if you've gone through the steps, if you've recorded what you were asked to record, then it's just producing that. Okay, so that's going to be your assignment quiz. And this is a pattern that we'll use it for each of your assignment quizzes. Okay, so keep that in mind. Then and in week 5, you'll go into getting introduction to Spark and PySpark. You'll have a tutorial on PySpark, and this would be on the Google platform, and you'll get to, and we'll talk about that. The collapse, the Google collapse, this is where you will have this tutorial, a very short one. You'll have a quiz on the reading material plus the tutorial that you would have gone through. And then you will also have a discussion on big data processing. That will complete your week 5 and most of the weeks that you have in this course, right? Then week 6 is doing an assignment with AWS EMR, right? With the Spark environment that you'll build, this cluster that you'll build. And you would make use of AWS Glue. You'll make use of a PySpark notebook to process the big data that you would have stored in a data lake, AWS S3. So, and then following that, a quiz on that assignment and making sure that you really did complete the assignment steps. So a lot of things that you do in the assignment gets graded directly using your quiz, okay? So keep that in mind. Now, still, you'll be asked to, at times, to even submit your assignment sheet, along with the quiz, because there are things that you'll be asked, like, give a snapshot, or produce a snapshot of this. Now, you cannot put up a snapshot in the quiz reply, so you're going to be asked for that document. So the document and the quiz together and put together will be completing your total points, and you'll be allotted total points based on that. Week 7, we'll be having, this is the tutorial that I'm talking about, which is currently, it's not visible to you, but once we've kind of gone over with what we are kind of going over with AWS at the moment, we will make that visible, okay? And if the issue still continues until you reach this week, no worries. There is ample material out there to understand what SageMaker is. But we just kind of wanted to have you kind of do the tutorial as well. So depending on where we stand, you'll be doing that tutorial or not. And then there will be a quiz. If you complete the tutorial, then the quiz will be on the reading material and the tutorial. If you do not do the tutorial in week 7, it will be just on the reading material. And then, of course, there's a discussion. This is also a module where you'll learn about ethics in machine learning. Very important topic. You'll learn that. You'll be going through a discussion on that. And finally, the week 8 is the final week. You'll be having the module 4, the final webinar, which will cover the material or any additional any supplement to your module 4 material. You'll learn about data streaming. You'll have an assignment on data streaming, and then a quiz for that assignment. And that will complete your course, Data 445. Let me stop here and see if there are any questions before I go further. Anybody? I hope everybody's awake. Should I do knock knock? Akavi, Erin, Tori,
Yes,
you
sir.
guys
I'm
good?
awake.
Still with me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Don't have
Just
any
making
questions.
sure, guys. Okay, yes. I love the feedback. I love the feedback. So please do not hesitate to ask anything. Or even if you don't want to ask, just say, okay, Linesh, we're still alive. We're still here. Just kidding. Okay, so now that we've gone through the structure, what it is, points, right? Week one quiz. So any quiz that you do that are non-assignment kind of quiz, which is week one, week three, week five, and week seven, you have 50 points each for each of those quizzes, right? For all assignments, for each of the 4 assignments, you have 120 points. And as I said, except for assignment 1, the other assignment are based on what you produce as the assignment document plus the quiz. That gives you total 120 points, okay? And then the most important, the maximum points, 320 points for your 4 discussions. Let me challenge this class. Nobody in the previous semester was able to score and take full 320 points. I would like to challenge you all to take these 320 points, which are the easiest points. And I'm telling you for a fact, these are the easiest points in this course. Okay, so all you need to do, and I'm going to go over what you need to do to be successful and grab those 320 points. Trust me, you need that. I mean, and you can get it. And I know each of you, I know, as I said, at least I know 7 out of the 9 students in this class. I've worked with you before, and each of you, and now I know Tori as well. I've heard about Tori. I've heard about, the other classmate who's not been part of my previous class. So I know you guys very well. This is going to be an excellent class. And so I want you all to grab those 320 points that I can use this class as an example, as a model, saying, guys, this was the class which took the maximum points, right? So let me be proud of that. Let me make this proud statement after March when this course is over and when I see that you guys grabbed the full points. So in order to be successful, and I'll come back to, if there are any questions on the points, I'll come back to this slide. But just to be, complete what I was just talking about, the discussions, the way you can be successful is remember to make your initial discussion posting as soon as possible. I would say by end of Saturday, if possible, of that week, right? So let's say if the week started on Wednesday, if you can complete your reading material or maximum reading material, and that could help you to build your initial posting. If you can do it by the end of day Saturday, fine. If not, I can understand. There are going to be times the week is going to be overwhelming for you in many ways. And it could be from Saturday, it could be Sunday, right? But don't go too long, because you'll know why I'm saying that, right? So if the class week includes discussion starts on Wednesday, try to put it on Saturday or latest by Sunday, right? Comment on at least 2 of your classmates' initial postings. Very important, right? It's not complete. Just by submitting your post, you have just probably taken only half of the points for the discussions. Remember, you'll be scoring only out of 50% of your discussion, because the other 50% comes from the comments that you would provide to your classmates on their postings, okay? I hope you're following with me so far. Next, if you reply to your fellow course participant, meaning, let's say, you put up a post, let's say Erin puts up a post, and and then Tori just responds to the post, provides comments to Erin for her post. Now it's Erin's responsibility to kind of respond back to Tori, right? And it could be sometimes as saying, okay, Tori, thank you so much for your encouraging feedback or your comments or whatever it could be, right? But it's like saying, if somebody is saying something to you, you ought to say something back, right? Wouldn't you do it in a real one? If you would be doing this verbally, wouldn't you say thank you at least, right? And that's the spirit that we want to carry it here, even in writing, to make sure that if somebody has responded, you're responding back to that person. So please do that. And maybe there's even more. I'm just saying, you don't have to just say thank you and just leave it there, but there could be a little more. So respond to your whoever, and it could be me. I typically would be, and I try my best to respond and react to every initial discussion posting, right? I may have a follow-up question, I may have a comment, and so you will see that from me as well. Now, this is very important, and which is why I said, if you post it earlier, you will get a lot of traction on your posting. You will see your classmates, reading your posting, commenting on it, asking you questions, you replying back. Excellent. Like, it's an excellent loop, right? But I've seen this happen, and it happens many times, right? For whatever reason. You posted on a Tuesday, right? You went all the way until the end of the week and you say, okay, I'm going to post it at 11 o'clock at night. And making sure Linesh is not going to be able to react to this, or any of my classmates are going to react to it. But guess what? You're still not completing the loop here, and you may end up not getting the full points. And you could say, oh, well, I just posted, but nobody responded, and I did not, do anything with it. So no, you submitted at 11 o'clock at night. So this is what you do. If you're going to be this person who's going to be submitted so late, well, sometimes it happens, or nobody reacts to your, okay, besides that, let's say nobody responds to your posting, right? And you would say, okay, what do I do in that case? Well, in that case, if that happens and the class week is almost over, just respond with additional comments on your own initial post, which means, let's say if Akavi, I'm just taking Akavi, this is just, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, but if Akavi chooses, this is just an example, Akavi chooses to post at 11 o'clock at night, Akavi would have to come back, take a stab at her own posting and provide additional comments, as if Akavi is saying, okay, Akavi, this is what you did. This is what is my question. This is my follow-up, whatever it is. You need to refine your own posting, which could be hard. Trust me. It's difficult to take a stab at yourself, right? It's easier to comment on others, but to yourself. So that's what I'm saying. You could be better off by having your classmates take a stab at your posting, or reacting or commenting on your posting, then you're doing it to yourself. So very important. Okay. Now let me stop here and ask you if you have any questions on the score, on the points system, or the discussions that we talked about. I hope you all followed it. If not, I can go over that again. Should I take the silence as you guys are following me? Right? I'll take that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's no
Akavi,
question
did I
for
pronounce
now.
your name right, by the way?
Yes, close. You can say Akuvi.
Akuvi. I
Yeah,
think you
it's
did mention to
close
me the
anyway.
last time, and I forgot. So it's my fault. Akuvi, and I'm going to
Akuvi.
remember this time. Okay, Akuvi.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for correcting me. Appreciate it. Okay, so Akuvi. Okay, all right. So thank you for that confirmation also. So we'll move on to what will you accomplish in this course, right? One, knowing what's big data and Hadoop ecosystem. Two, understanding big data storage architectures. Analyzing big data to solve a business problem. Applying machine learning to big data. Analyzing ethical issues in machine learning, and performing streaming analytics, right? This is all that you're going to accomplish. So pretty comprehensive and a very interesting course if you are able to go through all the material. And I'm telling you one more thing that I wanted to add from the material. There's a lot of stuff that we've leveraged on what is out there, right, on the internet, and what could be really, really very useful material. Now, when you bring all that together, sometimes you may feel like, oh, in the previous reading material, I just read about it. It's again going, when I go to the next document or next reading material, I'm learning about it little again. Why did I need to do it? It's because every concept of material tries to make sure that you understood the base concept for that, right? So that's why they could be doing it. But it's good to get, to reiterate some of that and to reread some of the information that could be there for certain things that you would already know or you would have learned through the previous reading material. So you'll see some of that, but I don't want you to get discouraged. I don't want you to get anything frustrated for that or whatever, but it's all good information. And trust me, that kind of repetition, that, when it is a little bit repetitive, it stays with you, right? You get, oh, yes, I know. Okay, you told me this 5 times. Okay, now I remember it, right? So that repetitive, information sometimes could be very helpful to you. Trust me. So success factors, and you've seen this slide before. Also, if you've been part of Data 220, if you spend 3 to 6 hours, you'll be successful in this course. If you want to be really successful in this course, really do well, really take all the maximum points, understand each and every concept that you're learning it here, or maybe even more, maybe by going out and doing some more research on certain things, maybe around 10 to 12 hours, trust me. It says 6 to 12, but I would say go beyond that, guys. I mean, stretch yourselves, because you're getting into the real world now where people are spending AWS. You must have heard about it. If not, AWS is one of the market leaders in being a cloud provider. There's Azure, there's GCP and IBM. So all these are like they're top-notch market leaders, cloud providers, and you're going to be working in that environment. There are a lot of things that kind of evolve every day, change every day, and added every day. So the more you do research, the more you kind of keep working on, the better off you will be, right? Because remember, you are getting very close to the completion of your degree, to the completion of your certification, whatever you're working on right now. And I want you all to be prepared. I want you all to be very confident when you go out and you'll be putting your resumes out there, right? You want to be successful in your interviewing, and you want to really proudly say, hey, I know what you're talking about. I know you're talking about AWS S3. Yes, I remember I used S3 for this, this, and this. I did this project, right? I want you to be confident with that information. And only when you are able to spend good time with this and do exactly what is it, do your assignments multiple times, guys. You got a free lab. You will not get this. You go out of the college, you do things on your own, you realize how much money you spend on month to month. All these cloud providers and everything that you do outside, once you've done with your degree or certification, there's a lot of money that you would start putting in. This is freely available to you. Take advantage of that. If you do your assignment once and you think, well, I did it all right, but I want to learn, I want to do it myself without looking at the instructions. Try it out. Why not? Right? Give it a shot. So what's going to happen? Nothing wrong, right? If you stumble, or if you think, the guy can go on and just reset your lab for you, right? And you can do it yourself as well. Say, okay, I'll just wipe out the slate, right? It's like a whiteboard. You put in the right lot of stuff there. You can just wipe everything off if you want to. But I'm just saying. So don't worry too much. Don't be afraid of trying things, learning things, but do it in a way that, once again, when you're in the lab environment, in this cloud provider environment, you're given certain credits. And I don't want you to run out of credits, because that's going to be a difficult thing. So I want you to do it in a proper way, right? Do it hundreds of times, but do it properly. If you use a service, remove the service back, take it off the list, right? Clean it out. make sure you're not going to be incurring any charges for that. I'm not saying charges meaning you're, billing you. It's it's against the credit that's being given out to you freely. Okay. So next, start early. As I said, if you're doing things, you want to do it multiple times, start early. You'll get chance to do it over and over again, right? And plus, you'll be better at things. For discussions, okay, and for anything, no plagiarism, please. There's not many papers. There's only one paper, but there are multiple discussions here, and I want you to be very clear. Please do not take or even if you use a reference, please put in your reference in your discussions, and that's okay. I trust you guys. You guys are all adults. I trust you. I don't want to kind of go into all these websites or Turnitin and all that to kind of check your stuff, but trust me, I have ways to do that. I have ways to check your discussions. I have ways to, even if you use ChatGPT, right? I don't know how many of you know ChatGPT or have used ChatGPT, but if you're using that, I know if you've even got information from ChatGPT and put it up here, because I know how to do it. So I know how to decode it as well. So please don't do that. Be honest to yourself, right? This is for your learning, and I want to trust you completely. Okay. Participation is key. Yes, come here, be part of webinars, be part of your classroom, be responsive to your classmates, comment on their discussions, whatever that could be, and so on. But yeah, that's really going to keep up, right? You're going to feel like you're in a semester, you're in a course, you're working through a degree. Have that going, right? So that kind of takes you further into understanding, not just knowing a lot of stuff from your classmates. You learn from others as well, right? Not just from reading materials, you learn from others. So your participation is going to be important. Your participation here is going to be important in many ways. And finally, submit things on time, right? So there's going to be, I think there's, in fact, a penalty that you could incur, if you're submitting your assignment late. I don't want to do that. I don't recall any time of having a penalty imposed on anyone. I would not want to do that ever. So, but do not stretch it too much, please. I don't want you to stretch it's so much that it becomes questionable, right? And I want to be fair to your classmates. So, and if you say that you want to, submit everything at the end of the course and still grade you, fairly, I'll not be able to, because your classmates have submitted things on time. They've done equally well. So please do not make it hard for me or anyone here or to the faculty. Just submit things on time. If you have any hardship, come upfront and much in advance. Don't come at the last minute. Don't try to ask questions at the last minute to kind of push things out. That's really not going to work, guys. Okay, so let's have a very let's build a very trusting relationship here, where you're going to be very open, and it's going to be you're not going to hesitate to say things or come up with things or to ask or request things, right? I'm here anytime. I put my email. If you need my support from phone, I'm available on phone as well. In the evenings, especially, you can talk to me anytime for anything that may be going on, right? So, anyway, so I just talking about how to get in touch. So here it is. To get in touch with me, you have my email address. To get in touch with the advisors, you have the advisor, the address, email address, and to a program director. So I want to give everything out there to you for you to kind of take advantage of anything that may going on. Plus, there are resources in the classroom itself. So if you need to kind of, if you need some advice, if you need a coach or for any reason, I don't think you would need it for any of the material here. In case you need, you can really take advantage of what UMGC is providing you. So here's the Salesforce ticket that I was talking about. And if you land into any issues, the very first thing you want to do, this is issues with your lab, right? If there are things in the classroom that are not correct or you have a question, you can post the question to me in the Ask Professor section, where I can go to and address any of your concerns or questions regarding any material or any assignment question that you may have or whatever. You can post it in the classroom. If you have any technical difficulties while going through a tutorial or your assignment, make sure you go to Salesforce, right? There's the, if you look at this the screen very closely, there's also the URL is right there. It will take you to the ticketing system. You plug in the ticket. If you do not find data 220, there are two important things. First of all, it should be for virtual lab support. Remember, the very first drop down, you need to choose UMGC virtual lab support. Number two important thing is you choose the course which is part of the program as data. And once you choose that, it will give you a list of all data analytics courses. Now, if you do not find data 445, please feel free to choose data 220. Don't choose any other courses. You choose data 445 or you choose data 220 if you do not find data 445. They're working on that, adding to that dropdown. But if you don't see that, that's okay. I provide as much information as possible, submit the ticket, send a note to Yelena, and her email address is in the beginning of this deck here. You will see her, write it to her, write or copy to me saying I have this issue, I've submitted the ticket, please, I need help, right? Send it out as soon as possible. Please do not wait and do not struggle too long for completing your assignment. Yes, if you are struggling with things that you think that it's a Saturday, okay, fine, I can do it on a Sunday, fine. But do not stretch it that it comes to Tuesday morning when you have to submit or Tuesday evening when you have to submit and try to get help, right? Because you may not find help, right, at that time if it is late, or do not expect us to be sitting there as chatbots waiting for emails from you, right? We may be checking it a few times during the day, but it's not all the time. So please, I want you to kind of work on it as soon as work on it, start early, so that if there are issues, you can hit to these issues much ahead of time. Then on the last day, okay? So any questions so far? Anything that I think I've pretty much, this is the last slide here. So if there are any questions on the coursework, on the point system, on the assignments, on the week-by-week structure, or the Salesforce ticket, any information that we have covered so far. So we covered the introduction part, we covered the course introduction, we covered the course lab, we covered course statistics, the week-by-week structure, your grading structure, what you will accomplish, what are all the success factors, and how to get in touch with me. And then lastly, the Salesforce ticket system. Any questions now?
I do have a question, Professor.
Sure.
Thank you for this. This is very helpful. This is the first time I've had a introduction meeting for one of my courses, and I do find it very helpful. So thank you. I was wondering if you could talk again about what we'll be doing with the Zoom meetings throughout the course going forward. Is it just like more in-depth, more detailed coverage of the module topics?
So I kind of do like a little bit of a mix, right? I try to bring in some additional information, like a supplement your your knowledge base, or whatever the concept or the things that you'll be learning during that module, in that module. So I kind of try to bring that to that webinar. I also try to bring in any additional information that you may need, or anything that I would want to add for your assignment that you could be working on the following week, right? Or that particular week. So the Zoom meetings, we are going to have 5 of them. So this course, including this today's webinar, there'll be 4 other webinars. So there would be one at the end of week 1, which will be next Thursday. So I'll have one next Thursday. Then we will have the following one will be after 2 weeks. So it will be end of week 1, end of week 3, end of week 5, end of week 7. So these 4 webinars plus 1 today is week 5. Did that answer your question?
Yes, yes.
Good
thank you.
question there. Thank you. Thank you for, for that question. That certainly did help. And I did have one thing in mind, and I just skipped it. Maybe it will come back. But yeah, very good question there. Any other questions? Okay, if no further questions, as soon as I get the copy of the recording, I will put up the deck in the classroom along with the recording. So please go through that. Please make it a point and make it a habit to get into the classroom to see any new announcements. I tend to put up announcements, and this time, and I go a little more frequently than what some of you may have seen in Data 220, because there's a lot of things in this course that I want you to be aware of, and I want you to be successful, very successful here, right? I want you all to run away with maximum points and with the best knowledge available, and all the knowledge that's available in this course. So I will be kind of putting up some announcements as reminders and things that you should know. So, get in the classroom as much as possible. And I'm still trying to remember what I was wanted to tell you before I end the webinar today, but maybe it will come back and I'll have to just put it in the announcements here. But
You may set up notification to receive email when announcement is posted.
Say it again. I'm sorry, Yelena.
Okay. The system allows you to set up notification when announcement is posted. You may receive an email.
Oh, yes. That's a very good point, Yelena. Yes, you do get a notification that there's a new announcement posted. And yeah, you may want to react to that notification that there's an announcement. So yes, if it does that. I have seen that before. So I'm sure you all would be seeing that as well.
Yeah. It's because if you check your email more often than you check a classroom, it really helps.
Yep, true. Absolutely. Okay, any questions, anything that comes to your mind, guys, before we start with this course here? I mean, have you already started? So I should say before you start, you already started, and I hope you've really, and I've seen, in the classroom, I've seen some of you have really gone far ahead and going through your reading and all that stuff. So keep up the good work. This is a great start. And we'll be talking again a week from now. In between, I'm available via email, or anytime you need, you can always, just, send me a note if there anything that's on your mind, or you can put it in the classroom so that, everybody knows, especially if you have a question about the material, about the assignment or things of that nature. I would suggest that you put in the classroom itself that question, rather than, asking it to me separately or via email, because I would want others to also know what you've been asking, or because the question that you may have, others may have it too as well at some point. Okay. Okay, so if no further questions, so we can all call it a wrap, guys. I think we are pretty much done on time here. Exactly, it's 8:29 in my clock in the East Coast. By the way, is everybody from East Coast? At least the folks, Erin and Tori and Kui, you guys are all from East Coast?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, cool. Alrighty. So it's 8:30. And if you've not had dinner so far, you get to dinner soon. And I'll see you guys in the class. Okay. Take care. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.